We're going to call this meeting to order. This is a regular city council meeting of the Williston City Council. It is Tuesday, April the 4th. It is 6:10 p.m. I will call to order. Ms. Bright, if you'll please call the roll for us.
Mayor Goodman.
I'm here.
President Jones.
Here.
Vice President Robinson. She's absent. Councilmember Cox.
Here.
Councilmember Bullock. Absent. Councilmember Ross.
Yes.
City Manager Terry Bovard.
Here.
Attorney Kirsten Ballou.
Here.
City Clerk Latricia Wright. I'm here. And all other staff.
Here.
Okay, thank you for joining us tonight. If you will, please stand for the opening prayer and pledge of allegiance by the mayor.
Lord, we ask you to be with us tonight as we go through the business of our city, to help us to make sound decisions that will benefit all of the people in our city. Lord, I ask you tonight to be especially mindful of the police officers in our community who are under a great deal of stress at this time. Lord, I just ask that you lead and guide them in all the decisions they have to make. In your name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've been saying the pledge about 10 times.
You did say he owed it to you.
I'm learning.
Okay, again, thank you for joining us. I will ask item number 1 if there are any additions, deletions, or changes to this agenda. If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. Do I have a second? Mr. Ross, can you second it for me? Can you second the motion for me?
Second.
Okay, we do have a motion and second for approval of the agenda. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 2, I'm very happy to do this one. Presentation of our clerk's certified municipal clerk certificate and lapel pin. We have Ms. Dawn Wright here from the Florida Association of City Clerks. She is the Central West District Director. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Goodman, President Jones, members of the City Council staff, and attendees. Good evening. My name is Dawn Wright. I'm the City Clerk for the City of Eagle Lake, and I am the Florida Association of City Clerks Central West District Director. It is with great pleasure that I appear here this evening to congratulate your city on a recent accomplishment of Latricia Wright upon earning her Certified Municipal Clerk's designation. Latricia began her career in local government 12 years ago when she was hired as a customer service representative. She later became the administrative assistant in the Planning and Zoning Department. After 2 years with Planning and Zoning, she became the executive assistant for the city clerk and the city manager, a position she held for 1 year, before being hired as a city clerk. She has been a member of the Florida Association of City Clerks, FACC, and the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, IIMC, for 3.5 years. Latricia has served on the FACC Host Committee and is currently serving on the 50/50 Committee. The International Institute of Municipal Clerks and its partner, the Florida Association of City Clerks, are professional associations that promote continuing education and certification through university and college-based institutes. IIMC's primary goal is to actively promote the continuing education and the professional development of municipal clerks through extensive education programs, certifications, publications, networking across the globe, annual conferences, and research. FACC's primary goal is to actively promote the continuing education and professional development of municipal clerks in the state of Florida by partnering with the Florida League of Cities and the Florida Institute of Government to meet the ever-changing educational needs of city and town clerks to improve their knowledge in areas such as public administration, law, management, elections, and many other disciplines. Currently, only 218 of the 546 FACC members have attained the Certified Municipal Clerk designation. To achieve the Certified Municipal Clerk designation, Latricia has gone through and completed the International Institute of Municipal Clerks Approved Municipal Clerk Institute program conducted by the John Scott Daly Florida Institute of Government through the Florida State University in Tallahassee. This program provides 110 student instructor contact hours of in-depth courses in managerial and leadership skills, social and interpersonal concerns, technical training needed to deal with changes taking place in government today. The program aids municipal clerks in improving job performance and recognizes the professionalism of municipal clerk's office. Completion of the recognized Career Development Academy, along with experience in local government and participation in conferences, meetings, and educational seminars are required to earn this prestigious Certified Municipal Clerk designation. Latricia is now part of an elite group of professionals in local government, a group she could not have become part of without your commitment to her efforts. On behalf of the Florida Association of City Clerks President, Board of Directors, its members in the Central West District, we are so very proud of you. Please join me in congratulating your City Clerk, Latricia Wright, on her impressive accomplishments as our newest Certified Municipal Clerk. Latricia, display your plaque and wear your pin with pride as an example of your dedication and professionalism.
If I could get Ian, my family, the young lady.
Are you family? Get up there. Come on. Come on.
And can I get my best friend and my husband that came? And my brother-in-law, Al, and my stepson.
Nice turn.
My stepson, if I could get him to come up as well, I would appreciate it.
Chief, you're holding this up, Chief, come on. Come on, Chief, you're holding up the picture. Come on, Chief.
They can't get organized anyway, so.
Turn sideways. Face the picture. Squeeze it in.
Squeeze it in.
Pretend you like each other.
I can move the chair, sir.
There we go, I got it.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, you should have run.
You feel like a track star.
You're taking a few minutes to do this. This is very important. Oh, we were listening.
We appreciate you all coming to celebrate with her tonight. We know how important and how special it is for her because we know how hard she's been working, and we're very proud of her. Okay. If you want to escape, this is your time, but if not, we're glad to have you. Okay, we're going to move at this time to item number 3, which is the Mayor's Student of the Month. And I believe we have 3 tonight. That's right.
Is Oakley Parks in the council chambers today?
There she is.
Come on over here, Oakley.
Come right up here.
Bring mama.
You can bring your mom if you want to. We don't bite, I promise.
I definitely gotta be gentle here.
Right here in the middle.
Hi, Oakley.
Mommy's social.
Oakley, I wanna tell you something, man. Mrs. Grimes thinks you're a very special person. Mrs. Grimes had the following comments to say about Oakley. Oakley Ray has to be just about the sweetest, most charming young lady I have ever had the pleasure of meeting and teaching. That's quite a statement, Oakley. That is a really good thing. Her smile is like a ray of sunshine, ready to brighten the day of anyone she comes in contact with. And her laugh is contagious. Oakley Ray is a model student and leads by example. She puts forth 100% in all that she does and encourages others to do the same. That's quite a statement, Oakley, that you encourage other people. While Oakley Ray is excelling academically, that's not the main reason that she has been nominated as the Mayor Student of the Month. It's for her genuine kindness, compassion, and thoughtfulness. I'm gonna cry here. And thoughtfulness. Oakley Ray is a friend to everyone, whether she has known you her whole life or just met you 5 minutes ago. She welcomes everyone with open arms. She's quick to help a friend or for sheer reason that they are in need of help. There is never an ulterior motive to her action. A student lost their pencil and Oakley Ray gives them hers with no hesitation. A student gets sand all over their face while playing on the playground. She's there doing her best to clean them off before they can even make it to their teacher for help. She also has the best outlook on everything. Whenever she makes a mistake, she smiles and says, "Oh, biscuits." In her sweet little voice, fixes the mistake and then just moves on. I consider myself to be so very blessed to have had the privilege of teaching Oakley Ray this year. If attitude is the determined on how far one will go in life, then there's no limit to how far Miss Oakley Ray Cynthia Parks will go. Wow. Miss, may I approach you? I don't bite. Hardly. I would like to give you this. This says Outstanding Student Award presented by Charles Goodman Meade, City of Mayor, the City of Williston, Florida. This is to certify in writing that Oakley Ray Parks is awarded this certificate for academic excellence leadership, citizenship, and attendance at Joyce Bullock Elementary School. And it was given this day, the 4th day of April, 2023. And I hand this to you. Now, one thing that I have a problem with, I'm supposed to give you this free 14-inch pizza given to us by Domino's Pizza just because you're such a special person. Thank you, Lee, for the example you set for the rest of us. We are going to do a picture after the third one, so don't let her leave.
Okay.
Especially her.
We're so proud of you.
Is Tristan Tucker in the council chambers today? Tristan Tucker, did you make it, young man? Tristan Tucker, going once. Tristan Tucker, going twice. We will see that Tristan Tucker gets his award. I think it's important that he be recognized. There's no telling why he was unable to come. So let me just quickly read. Tristan Tucker is in 5th grade. His parents, Brenda Cohey, nominated by Mr. Thompson, who made the following comments. Tristan is very responsible and helps whenever and wherever she can. I'm very proud of all of her progress, and I'm very happy to have her in my class. Tristan has a wonderful work ethic and is a great example to her peers, both academically and behaviorally. Tristan embodies what it is to be a Williston Elementary School star student. So Tristan, the clerk will make sure that you get it. If you would do so for me.
Good job, Tristan.
Good job, Tristan. Jadrian Mundy. Kids. Are you Jadrian Mundy? I'm teasing you. Okay. I need my paper. You know me like a book. Jadrian Mundy was nominated. He's in the 11th grade. My goodness gracious. He's a grown-up. Nominated by Bobby Groland, who made the following comments. Jadrian is a good student, helps his peers, has a good attitude and personality, and is a great help to me as an intern. Jadrian has tons of school spirit and is always willing to help. Jadrian is focused and very organized. Jadrian does excellent work, and if we are including sports, he does play basketball. And we have the Outstanding Student Award for Jadrian also. Now comes the really hard part. Can I have you and your mama back up here? Oh,
Mommy's gonna go take pictures. Okay.
the good news is, this won't put you in Hollywood. That's good news. These people would like to take pictures of you, if you'll show them that.
Smile. Did you smile? I'm gonna eat your pizza. You can have pizza.
You're a popular lady. Are we done? I see another camera. Look at this. All right, thank you very much.
Great job. That's always one of our favorite things to do, is to recognize the children. And the mayor does a great job. We will, at this time, also excuse you if you want to go. If not, like I say, you are welcome to stay. But this is your chance if you want to run.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all for coming. We're going to move this time. Item number 4 is a proclamation for Water Conservation Month. It's also your turn, Mr. Mayor. And Miss Larkin's one of the only ones left.
Who of this astute group knows how long you can survive without water?
3 days.
22.
7 days.
3 days.
3 days, 72 hours.
30 days.
I heard
If you
22
have a
up there,
camel
that's the
walk.
hardest I heard.
3
Okay,
days.
the rest of you are all wrong. I want to issue a proclamation today.
What's the answer?
Whereas water is a basic and essential need. You want to know the facts?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Lamar, you know.
Okay, now I can move on?
Yes.
Water is an essential and basic need of every living creature. And whereas the state of Florida Water Management District and the city of Williston, I see you guys, and the city of Williston and the state of Florida has designated April typically a dry month, and I can tell you it is.
I already told him. Sit back down.
I got them all cooking anyway.
You're not smart.
A dry month when water demands are most acute. Florida's Water Conservation Month to educate citizens how they can help to save Florida's precious water resources. Whereas the city of Williston has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs, special events, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water, and thus promote a healthy economy and community, and now therefore let it be resolved that by virtue of the authority invested in me as the mayor of the city of Williston, I do hereby proclaim the month of April as Water Conservation Month. The city of Williston, Florida is calling upon each and every citizen and business to help protect our precious resource by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. Signed under my hand and seal in the council chambers of City Hall on this 4th day of April 2023, Charles Goodman, Mayor. And I would like to present this to you.
This is Ann Larkin. She
This
is the
is
chairman. Yep.
My friend, Ann Larkin.
She's the chairman of the Conservation Committee for the Williston, GFWC Williston Women's Club.
I know you are very involved.
Way to go, Ian. 18 days. 18 days? I was supposed to say 3 days. Yeah.
Next one coming right in. You're saying-
Oh, yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
Item number 5 is a proclamation for the Community Development Week.
Miss Wright, is there anyone I have to hand this to?
The city planner, Laurel Jones.
Who is the CRA
There she
director.
is. There she, guilty as charged, right? Whereas the community, this is a proclamation, whereas the Community Development Block Grant, sometimes known with the wonderful acronym CDBG grant, this program has existed since 1975 to provide local governments with the resources to develop viable communities by providing decent, affordable housing and suitable living environment and expanding economic opportunities, principally for persons of low to moderate income. Whereas the Community Development Block Grant Program has strengthened America's communities, such as the city of Williston, by addressing pressing neighborhood human services needs and having a significant impact on our local economies through job creation and retention, physical redevelopment, and improved local tax base. Whereas the city of Williston has effectively administered and customized its community block grant program for over 20 years to implement various programs and projects in the areas of affordable housing, economic development, public facilities and public work improvements, homelessness, and planning that has contributed to the improvement of the physical, economic, and social conditions of our city. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Williston, I do hereby proclaim the week of April 10th through the 14th, 2023 as Community Development Week.
Hold up, Ms.
The
Jones.
city of Williston, Florida urges all citizens to join us in recognizing community development programs and the important role that they play in our community. Signed under my hand and seal in the council chambers of the City Hall on this 4th day of April 2023, Charles Goodman. And the person that is most responsible for this is Miss Laura Jones.
Okay, at this time we're at item number 6, which is public participation. This is the first chance on this agenda that you have as the public to speak to this council about anything that's on your mind that may not be on this agenda. You have up to 5 minutes to do that. If you are not going to speak now, you do have one other chance at the end of the agenda. I see Miss Jackie moving around over there.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jacqueline Apley, and I'm standing with Miss Ava Seabrook's son. And we're here tonight to do a follow-up on an interview that was done with her back in November 2022. One of the interests the family had in asking to do a follow-up was the street that's directly in front of her home. How do you go about getting that street named after Miss Seabrook's and her sister, Virginia Greenlee? So I'm following up on the process because the family has asked me what the process was, and her son's here. He can share what he had an interest in how to get this process completed.
Okay, I can tell you it's the first I've heard of it. Who did you bring it to before?
When Nikki, Miss Nikki was working with me on the interviews, and Miss Lydia went out and did the interview with Miss Seabrook.
Okay.
And then we brought it back.
Like the storyteller interviews?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And so we completed that after a couple of tries, so that was completed. And then when we went back, I came up here and talked with some staff about the process.
Okay.
And I think Jonathan would know, because I mentioned to them about getting information for the family. That's mainly what I've been trying to do. And they wanted to do a follow-up to find out where was that process on that street. So like I said, our son is here, he might ask some things, or Jonathan.
I have a question, I guess first before staff chimes in. And this kind of came up before, and we talked about it once before for someone else. Are you wanting to change the name of the street itself? Or are you wanting to dedicate the street to her? You want to change the names. So you want everybody on that whole street to have a different address. I'm just gonna say it like it is.
We can dedicate it
Without actually changing the address. We can actually put up signs and dedicate the street to her.
I'll give you, for instance, Deputy Moss. The street is dedicated in his memory, but we didn't have to change the name of the street.
It's still Noble Avenue.
Okay, you have the Deputy Moss up there?
Yes.
We do.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so it's acceptable to change it to, you want Avis Seabrook, is that what you're going to call it? Avis Seabrook, is it a street or an avenue?
It's, street.
It would be,
Second.
it runs east and west, so it will be an avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, staff, do you think we can accomplish that, if that be the will of the council? Ms. Deborah?
And my aunt, Virginia Greenlee.
And Miss Virginia?
Virginia
Yep.
Greenlee, yes, ma'am.
Greenlee.
Yes, ma'am.
Love them both.
Yes, ma'am.
I served with them both on the Planning and Zoning
Yes,
Commission.
and my mom, and that's why I really want to do it, because she's still living, so I just
Yes,
want
she is.
to give her flowers while she's living, you know, and
That's it.
she can celebrate my age.
Mr. Bishop?
We will absolutely look into it and see how we can make it move forward.
Okay. All right, so let's pick a beginning spot and an ending spot.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Miss Virginia on the same street?
Yes, yes, yes.
So, does one part of it need to be for Miss Seabrook and one part for Miss Greenlee?
Or can we combine their names?
I don't know how we could put them both on one big sign. I guess we could.
You could, but
Since they're sisters, it would probably work pretty good.
And their homes are right next.
Yes, they are.
Right, right.
Yeah, I remember when Miss Seabrook built her new house. She was so proud of it.
Yes, ma'am.
so why don't you just combine both the first names and call it an avenue at that point?
We could probably put them both on there and dedicate it to them. Okay, so y'all pick a beginning and an ending and report it to us at the next meeting. And Miss Latricia, if you'll put it on the agenda so that we can consider it at that time. That good with everybody? Because since it's not on the agenda, we can't take action tonight,
Yes, ma'am.
but we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting and we'll be better prepared and we will take care of it.
I just want to say one thing, like the mayor said to the police system, and you're doing a great job. Thank you guys for protecting the community. Love you guys. Wonderful job.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Miss Jackie. Anybody have anything else on that item? Okay. Any other public participation at this time? As I said, there is one other opportunity at the end. If not, we will move to item number 7, which is the consent agenda, which consists of the council meeting minutes of March the 21st. And I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, item number 8. At this time, we have staff, board, and council member updates. And we'll start with the city manager, Terry Bavard.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple things real quick from me, just to bring you up to speed, is we're now meeting weekly with our partners, Lit Community, Connect Humanity on the broadband project. So that's moving quite along. We have a working group set up with that, and so hopefully sometime in the future we'll have a working model of what that would look like through the city. There's another thing that I'd like to bring up is that we were awarded a grant for, in addition to the original grant for John Henry Park drainage area. So we were awarded another grant on top of that Donald could probably speak to better than I could, the total numbers and maybe where we would be at, but it's pretty significant on our part.
The first round was around $800,000. When the engineering went back and bid it out the third time, the lowest bid came in at almost double that, so they went and secured another $800,000. It is fully funded at this time. We're working with the city attorney to see how quickly we can move forward on that last bid round, or if we need to go out again for bid, but we're hoping to move on that very quickly, and that's something that's been there for about 3 years that we've been working on.
That's wonderful. Terrific. Thank y'all for pursuing that. Great to hear. That's it for you?
Yes, ma'am, for now.
Okay. Any other staff member at this time? All right. Any council member? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not making much noise down there.
I usually make a ton of noise during these meetings, so I'm really trying to
You did.
turn over a new leaf.
Yes, ma'am.
I did want to sort of commend your Public Works Department and your Planning Department, Benton, who's not here, and your City Manager, Terry Brevard. We've had several meetings regarding new additions to our community, and every time I have a meeting with them, they are very well prepared. They have the city's best interest in all of the things that all of the ideas that they present, and they're really looking at it from a long-term perspective, which is very refreshing. So I did want to make sure that was acknowledged, because we have been busting butt on a couple of these different projects, and they've really been very, very impressive.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all. That's great to hear. And we know how good they are. Got a good staff right now. They're rolling together in the same direction, which is always a good thing. Okay, any other staff member? Okay, any council member? Anything for right now? I think the only thing that I will add is I've been asked by 2 or 3 different people when new council members take their seats. And I will say it's not the first meeting in May. It is a special meeting the 2nd Tuesday in May. Not at a council meeting, it's just a special investiture meeting. And it's because we have our changes, where we made a change into when our elections were, and we extended the period of time in case we needed to have a special election if we had to have a runoff. We had to have a certain number of weeks in order to send those mail-out ballots out again. So that's why it's so long. It's much longer than it used to be. That's why people don't realize. It used to be like 6 weeks. Now it's more like 8 or 9 weeks. It's quite a while. If you remember, we qualified in January, and that seat will be taken. But the election was not supposed to be till April, and we had nobody who ran. May 9th, yes, it is the 2nd Tuesday in May, which is May 9th. That's all I have. Mr. Mayor, do you have anything?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam President.
Yes, sir.
For this, I'll even turn the mic on, Aaron.
Great, just get it closer.
Yeah. Get it close, right?
How about like that? Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Perfect.
I have a very special thing that I would like to talk to you about tonight. His name is Orrin Dallas. Orrin worked for the city of Williston for 42 years. He passed on the 23rd of March. And I went to his funeral a couple of days ago, and it was an honor to go there. He served this community for 42 years of his life, and he was a well-loved man. If you could have had the honor of going to the funeral that I went to, you would have been absolutely astounded at the love that he has from the people of Williston, Florida. And his children all said the same thing. He loved Williston. I talked to the city clerk, and when she first started, this wonderful clerk that we have 12 years ago, Mr. Orrin was retired for many years and was still going around the city picking up paper because he loved this city so much. I want to make sure that his passing is recognized. So I am telling you, Mr. Goo, for those few that had the honor of knowing him, passed away on the 23rd of March. And he was a wonderful man that should be honored by us all. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you doing that on our behalf. We do miss him. He used to come visit with us even after he left, like Patricia said. Okay, at this time we are to the main event. We're to the new business, which is item A, fair housing presentation. City Manager Laura Jones. We're going to open a public hearing. And I guess we'll start with pages 11 through 22 first, before we go to the open public hearing. Do what?
Look in my ear. There's nothing, I can't.
Staff needs to be controlled. So this is our Fair Housing Workshop. The Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing-related transactions, including the sale, rental, or financing of dwellings. We have a presentation today from Fred Fox Enterprises. This is Miss Melissa Fox, and she will take over our fair housing handout that we have up on the screen for everybody. It's also in your agenda.
Okay, so we'll open the public hearing. We're moving to item B, which is the first public hearing of the
I'm sorry, this is just a workshop. This is just the fair housing workshop. It's not a public hearing.
Okay.
This second item on the agenda will be a public
Item
hearing.
A is not a public hearing.
Correct, and no action needs to be taken on that. On item B, that will be a public hearing.
Okay, well, it sounded like she was moving you into it. That's why I read it.
Okay, no, I apologize. My name is Melissa Fox. I'm with Fred Fox Enterprises, and the purpose of tonight's workshop is just to notify the elected officials as well as the residents of the Federal Fair Housing Act. The Federal Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing-related transactions, including the sale, rental, or financing of dwellings. Discrimination includes refusing to rent to someone, steering someone away from a particular type of neighborhood, or housing or neighborhood, enacting zoning measures to exclude particular groups, etc., because of membership in a protected class. The federally protected classes are as follows: race, color, religion, national origin, sex, familial status, disability. Now, a local government or a state government can have additional, but these are the federally protected classes. What is prohibited? No one may take any of the following actions based on race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin. Refuse to rent or sell housing. Refuse to negotiate for housing. Set different terms, conditions, or privileges for sale or rental of a dwelling. Falsely deny that housing is available for inspection, sale, or rental. For profit, persuade or try to persuade homeowners to sell or rent dwellings by suggesting that people of a particular race, age, sex, etc. have moved or are about to move into the neighborhood, or deny any person access to membership or participation in any organization, facility, or service related to the sale or rental of dwellings. There's housing protection for families with children. It is unlawful to discriminate against a person whose household includes one or more children who are under 18 years of age. This is known as familial status. It's in which one or more minor children live with a parent or legal custodian. There's additional protection if you have a disability. If you have a physical or mental disability, including hearing, mobility, or visual impairments, cancer, chronic mental illness, HIV/AIDS, that substantially limits one or more major life activities or are regarded as having such a disability, a housing provider may not refuse to let you make reasonable modifications to your dwelling at your expense. A landlord may permit the changes only if you agree to restore the property to its original condition. For example, a building with a no pets policy must allow a visually impaired tenant to keep a guide dog. Additionally, if you are in a wheelchair and you need to be able to access your front of your house, you are allowed to put up a ramp. Your landlord needs to let you allow. He may require you when you move out to remove said ramp, but you are allowed that reasonable modification. What housing is exempt? The Federal Fair Housing exempts owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units and single-family housing sold or rented without the use of a broker. So if you're a private citizen selling your home and you're not using a broker, then you are exempt from the Federal Fair Housing Act. Senior housing exemption exempts some senior housing facilities and communities from liability for familial status discrimination. They have to be provided under a state or federal program that HUD has determined to be specifically designed and operated to assist elderly persons,
or intended for and solely occupied by persons 55 or 62 years of age or older. These are known as the 55-plus communities that you see. They are exempt as long as they're provided under a state or federal program. If you think your rights have been violated, you can contact the following. You can contact the Florida Commission on Human Relations, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the Southeast Regional Office in Atlanta, or the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in Washington, D.C. What you will need to provide: your name and address, the name and address of the person your complaint is against, the address or other identification of the housing involved, a short description of the alleged violation, and the dates of the alleged violation. Additionally, the city has a local ordinance that includes steps and time limits in which complaints must be submitted and responses provided. What happens when you file a complaint? The office receiving the complaint will notify the person filing the complaint and the alleged violator of the filing and allow the respondent time to submit a written answer. The office will investigate the complaint and determine whether there is reasonable cause to believe that the respondent violated the Fair Housing Act. The office will notify you and the respondent if HUD cannot complete its investigations within 100 days of filing and provide reason for the delay. Additionally, during the complaint investigation, HUD is required to offer you and the respondent the opportunity to voluntarily resolve your complaint with a conciliation agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can.
Anyone have any questions? I think we're good. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ms. Jones, are you handling the other half?
Not necessarily.
Okay. I am now going to open the public hearing, and it's the first public hearing of the Community Development Block Grant, which is follows in our agenda packet. And Ms. Jones is here as well, and I guess Fred Fox Enterprises.
Correct. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Melissa Fox. I'm with Fred Fox Enterprises, and I'm here tonight to notify the city, as well as the residents, of the city's eligibility to apply for a community development block grant. The maximum grant amount that the city can apply for is $700,000, and under that $700,000, there's three main categories that you can apply for. The first is a housing rehabilitation, and that's where the city would go in and they would address code violations on owner-occupied low to moderate income homes. You would need to address all code violations and bring the home up to code. If the repairs are deemed to be more than it would cost to replace it, then you would demo the house and build a new site-built home in its place. It wouldn't necessarily be the same square footage. It's based on household size. Typically for $700,000, you might be able to get 5 or 6 homes done, maybe with construction prices the way they are. The second is a commercial revitalization. That's where you're doing improvements in your commercial district. You might be doing some streetscaping, some decorative lighting, different pavers, planters, different things like that. And the purpose is to revitalize your downtown area, to bring new businesses in, as well as bring residents back downtown again. The city would be considered the service area, and the city would need to be a minimum of 51% low to moderate income. And then the third is the most popular, that's the neighborhood revitalization. That's where you're addressing infrastructure items within the city. You might be doing water line replacement, sewer line replacement, improvements to your water plant, improvements to the sewer plant, street paving, parks, drainage, lift stations, different things like that. There again, the beneficiaries must be a minimum 51% low to moderate income for the threshold, application threshold. So if you're paving 2 blocks, 51% of the people on those 2 blocks would have to be low to moderate income. The fourth is a standalone category, and it's actually you're eligible to apply for up to $1.5 million, and that's the economic development category. And in that, the city would provide infrastructure on city easement property to facilitate a new business coming into the city or the expansion of an existing business. The business must create new long-term jobs and be included as the developer in the application. The maximum grant amount is the $1.5 million, and 1 full-time equivalent job must be created by the developer for each $34,999.99 being requested. So if you had a business that wanted to come in that needed a sewer force main or needed a deceleration lane, anything like that, you could apply for funds to do that. You can only apply for a housing, commercial, or neighborhood at a
particular time. It has to be one of the three. But you can also, you can apply for an economic development at any time. You can actually have an open housing, commercial, and neighborhood and still apply for a economic development. That's kind of a standalone category. On the next page.
So you could actually turn in 2 applications?
You can turn in 2. You could turn in one for a housing, a neighborhood, or a commercial, and an economic.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next page has the HUD income limits for 2022. 2023's won't be out until probably May. But you'll notice you're under Levy County, and so the bottom number is the low to moderate income for the county. So at 4 persons, the maximum you could make would be $48,550. That's total household income. So that's where we get the low to moderate income limits from. Those are set by HUD. These applications are competitive, so you're competing with other small cities and counties throughout the state. There's additional ways you can score points in your application. The first is to leverage. Every 2,000 of leverage results in an extra final point in your score. There's a maximum of 25 points or 50,000. Now you can certainly put more towards the project. You just won't get any more points. 25 points is the max. Additionally, for the neighborhood revitalization and commercial revitalization, if you submit your application with signed and sealed specifications and plans, along with have applied for your permits, you'll get an extra 50 points in your application for being considered shovel ready. You'll need an engineer to certify that they have applied for all permits. You don't necessarily need to have permits in hand. You just have to show proof that you have actually applied for the permits. The local government can't be reimbursed for the shovel ready, so you can't be reimbursed for the preparation of those plans and specs, even if the project is funded. So the steps required in the CDBG application process. One is to appoint a Citizens Advisory Task Force. That's been completed. The second is to advertise and hold a CATF meeting to discuss possible projects. The CATF members did meet today at 5, and I'll be happy once we get through the public comment portion, I'll go over their recommendation. The third is to advertise and hold a first public hearing and to obtain public comment and direction by City Council on moving forward. That's what we're here for tonight. The fourth would be to advertise and hold a fair housing workshop. We did that previously. That gives you extra points in your application. The fifth is to advertise and hold a second public hearing, and it would be at that we would actually present a copy of the application for public comment as well as approval to submit either with revisions needed or submit as presented.
And the deadline is when?
The deadline is May 5th.
Okay.
What happened is the state they combined fiscal year 2021 and fiscal year 2022 funds, and they did those last year. And then they have a little bit, they have about half. They've got about 13 million left over from those funds, so they're doing a short, quick cycle now. And then they're going to do fiscal year 2023 funds sometime late summer, early fall. So there's actually 2 cycles this year. You'll only be eligible to apply for one. I mean, if you get awarded in the first one, then you won't be eligible to apply in the second. But if for some reason something happens in this one, then you can turn around in 3 or 4 months and reapply for it.
Okay.
Madam President, we are shovel ready. The project that the CATF has recommended to you, and you'll hear about it in a minute, will get us the maximum points allowed for that, for the 50 points.
Okay, so who's going to tell us about that?
I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else on the agenda for me to say, so somebody's going to have to keep going with it.
And just to keep, and I only bring this up because we have had instances where we didn't allow for public comment prior to, so we just want to allow the public any opportunity.
And I guess we can do that. I know most of the people here are staff, other than Ms. Larkin, who is a realtor, by the way, and her friend. So she may have comment. I see Mr. Johnson over there as well.
Yeah.
And Jackie is still over there. Thank you
so
for
after
that.
public comment, then we can present what
Okay,
staff
so is
recommended.
there any public comment or questions for Ms. Fox? For staff or anyone in the public? Seeing none, please continue.
Last year, you'll remember we asked to do this application to upgrade a lift station on the east side. The lift station's on Northeast 2nd Avenue. We would have some money left over after that upgrade, so we wanted to do some paving on the southeast side around 10th Avenue and 10th Street. So we'll go south on 10th And then Donald has this map in his brain, so I'll let him finish up, but we're gonna take a little bit out from last year because there's some paving there that's not gonna be done, but we'll give you the final application when it's time to give you the exact roads that are gonna be finished.
The paving in northeast or southeast?
Southeast.
Southeast, yeah.
This was lift station 4. It is located on Northeast 9th Street, and it is just north of Northeast 2nd Ave on 9th Street. It is on private property. We have city-owned property across the street. The design that's shovel-ready would be to move the lift station across to our property and to reestablish it. It would also accomplish an upsizing it so that as council looks, we've had people come in on the northeast side and ask, when are we going to get on the sewer system? It would be designed so that when those projects could be funded, the lift station would be all set for it. And we could get on all those additional residents in Cherry Point on 4th Ave, from 9th Street down to 13th Street to the middle school on 3rd Ave, 2nd Ave, add in 11th Street, add in 10th Street, and add in the east side of even 13th Street.
Wow.
So that would be what the lift station is designed to do. Then because there would be money left over, southeast 10th Street from Noble up to 3rd Ave, southeast 9th Terrace from Noble to 2nd Ave, and southeast 9th Street from Noble to 2nd Ave. And then the cross streets 1st Ave and 2nd Ave on the southeast side from 10th over to 9th Street. So it'd be a small grid of approximately 3 streets.
Cool. Okay, and that one falls into community development, economic development?
That would fall into the neighborhood
Neighborhood
revitalization.
revitalization, okay.
And the Citizens Advisory Task Force did talk about some possible projects, but they also listened to staff recommended, and they voted unanimously that council should proceed with the staff recommended project.
Because it's shovel ready. Okay, which gives us those extra 50 points. So do we have another one that is for for economic development?
Yes, ma'am, we've been talking about that for a while. The problem is when we talked to Mr. Fox about that, the commitment from a business to add those jobs isn't always available.
What about the one that was in here the other day for the airport? I mean, that man, he talked about needing grant money.
We're working on it.
So you're gonna keep that one in mind, even if we don't make the May 5th.
And the economic development, when they open that category, that stays open until they put a certain pot of money in, and they just leave it open all year round. So that one alone, you can submit it any time during the year.
Okay, so we need your help with that one.
Yeah, that one's open. We've been discussing things at the airport for that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's the one that came to my mind when you hit that category.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of you.
Yes, and I will add, there was another business in town, industry that we approached, and they declined to participate.
Yeah. With the need for expansion and adding new employees at that dollar amount, that's a lot of them. It could be a lot of employees.
One of the drawbacks from developers is a developer cannot do anything on their property until the city is awarded and the city has gone through the environmental review phase of the project.
Okay.
That can take at least 6 months to get through that. So a lot of developers do not want to wait to do work on their property until that is completed. They're ready to go. So that's one of the drawbacks from developers, and so that kind of tends to.
I can also think of the apartment complex, which is not necessarily economic development, but it would definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the economic development is one where the employer has to agree to so many employees
Yes.
at a cost.
Yes.
And
So for every $35,000 that the city receives, it's $34,999.
And it wouldn't be a business that would maintain
Right.
employees, so that one
The
wouldn't
business
work.
has to agree to create that job,
Right.
and they have to retain it for
Sure.
a year. So that's tracked
That
over
was my
the year.
question. The retention is 1 year.
Is 1 year, yes. They don't have to necessarily
Not
keep that
10.
employed, but they have to show if they lose an employee, they've replaced it with another low
Right.
to moderate income, a resident.
Mr. Bishop.
So we had a meeting with Cottage Cove today. We spoke about that, so we're gonna give him some more information and bring it back to him.
Yeah.
With
And-
who? I'm
Project
sorry.
Cottage.
Project Cottage, the toys you got to play with last meeting.
Oh, that's, yeah.
We had a
Okay.
meeting.
I didn't know the name of them.
We had a meeting today.
Good.
Yeah, and that one you've got, you know, it's there until the money runs
Okay.
out. And the past few years, it has not ran out just because it's hard to.
Yeah,
put on board.
I'd like to see us do both of them. You know, obviously the one is right now on shovel ready.
Right.
Okay, so any other questions? Anybody else have any ideas? Okay, now what?
So I just need a motion and an approval to move forward with proceeding with a CDBG and in what category.
To submit the application?
Yes,
Okay.
or just to pursue
Prepare it.
a neighborhood revitalization. We don't necessarily need to name.
Specify an
specific-
area.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
All right, I would entertain a motion. Need her to restate it for us? Where you got it?
I made the motion to what she said.
Can you restate it for us
I
again?
can, yes, we need a motion. We need a motion for the city to pursue a community development block grant application in the neighborhood revitalization category.
Thank you. And I have a second from Mr. Ross.
On what she said.
That's right. A motion from Mr. Cox, a second from Mr. Ross. Any other comment or discussion from anyone else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. for your
Wonderful.
time.
Thank you for spending your evening with us. I think you've been here since what, 4 o'clock or at least? Yeah. Okay.
Well, we've enjoyed your company.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
I've
we
enjoyed
have.
yours.
Okay, item 10 is public participation. Item 10 is public participation, and this is your second opportunity to speak to anything that is not on the agenda that you would like to speak to us about for up to 5 minutes. I think our only public is sitting here and here.
Thank you, though.
All right, yeah, at this time we'll start with council and staff updates. Anybody else have an announcement they'd like to make? I think I've made mine already. Mr. Mayor, got anything?
I have one thing.
How about what you told me earlier?
Do I have more than one thing? What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about, but I was excited when you told me that other thing.
I don't have any.
Now you have to tell us. No, he doesn't
All right,
remember
moving
the
on.
first thing.
Oh, that's old news.
No, I had just heard it today.
The city of Williston has worked very diligently and has successfully provided electricity to the animal shelter that I have spent the last 14 months of my life working for free. What I really wanted to say is, my wife said that man over there gives me such a good haircut that I have to make an appointment no matter how long it takes to get him to give me a haircut again.
I've heard that from others. I did. I just heard that from somebody the other night. How good a haircut he made, but they had to make an appointment. I said, then it must be worth it.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for, I just, I have been struggling with getting the electricity at that animal shelter for so long that it's hard to even conceive it actually happened. But I know that they worked very hard to get it.
We will miss our meeting.
I can't believe you didn't even tell me about it. I heard it today from the mayor. I was so excited. So what about the open house? Somebody want to tell us about that?
That would be the city manager.
Okay. I'm sorry. I jumped the
Absolutely can be the city manager, but I wouldn't want to steal any of Laura's thunder, but April 28th, we will have an open house ribbon cutting ceremony at the animal shelter. You'd like to add anything else, Laura?
Yes, sir. It'll be 12 to 2. We'll have some light refreshments. We can talk about some of the programs we're going to be doing. We'd like everybody to come in and see what a wonderful job the mayor and Wayne have done. It's actually an incredibly beautiful building. It's surprising. It's surprising to see an animal shelter that is so well decorated. It's just really beautiful.
If she's surprised.
It's really pretty. It's nice.
Can't wait to see it. I know it has colorful doors.
It does.
I'm looking forward to that. I've seen pictures. Okay, anybody else up here on this panel? Ms. Latricia.
I just want to let everyone know that we have started the Tour of Honor, which that consists of the Tour of Honor riders visiting each memorial, Veterans Memorial in each state. And in each state, there's only 7 veteran memorials selected, and we were one of the 7 this year, which I'm very proud of.
I am too.
And we had our first rider that our city manager was able to have a conversation with, and he took a picture for me, which is on Facebook.
Her name is Michelle Pistorius from Chester County, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
She's a retired nurse, and she's riding in honor of her husband.
I did see that. I was excited. That's how I knew it had started, because it just started, this last week?
Sunday.
Sunday, okay. I knew it had
And I
just
was
started.
lucky enough to get a coin from her.
Oh, cool. Very good. What did we give her? We should have something to give them. Don't you think? I think we need to think about that. If they visit, maybe we should give them something.
If we haven't seen them,
I mean, I know we don't see them all, but if we
They
have,
don't register with us, they just show up.
correct. And they
They're
haven't taken a picture.
motorcyclists.
oh, I know that, but if we see them, I think we should give them something. Yeah,
Does
okay.
the Chamber of Commerce have any mugs left, or t-shirts or bags that say "I love Williston"? Or maybe a bumper sticker?
I'll check.
We could purchase them.
I'll check.
We'll just put it on.
Or maybe we could get some little pins or something. Yeah, okay, that would be, I think that would be great. If they come, and you could actually say if you register at City Hall, you get a small gift. Mr. Cox, do you have anything? Mr. Ross, do you have anything? Anybody else? Go on. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting, April the 4th, 2023.
Amen,
I
brother.
have a motion and a second from Mr. Cox. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you for sticking it out with us.
I'm coming with, I would try to catch it, see if I get free pizza, but that might be criminal. Yeah.
Mr. Ross.
Mr. Ross.
You need to do, please, if you don't mind, take a picture and all of us together.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Bring that over and then I'll let you hold on to
Look at this,
it.
my
If you wanna have a chair.
I bet if I went and got a pizza with this, the chief of police for the rest. Yes, sir. I think that's, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, prison for life.
That's right, the Williston animal.
Which is better.
You got your balance, I'll.
No, I had it.
Can I show you the picture of the
Let everybody come on over, you just have to stand long.